Hi, and welcome to this introduction webinar on the topic Competella Contact Center. Today, you will meet me, Karin Lindberg, together with my colleague, Lars Fredstedt. We are working in sales, and we will be here during this 50 minutes webinar. We will ask you to send in questions through the question form in GoToWebinar, and we will send you a follow-up survey after the webinar in a separate email that we encourage you to fill in for us to approve. The agenda of today is for you to find out a little bit more about Competella and us being part of Enghouse Interactive. But of course, we will look into the Competella solution and give you an overview of our platform. And the main topic today is to give you a live demo of this platform, Competella Contact Center. This demo will include a contact center workgroup, which is advanced hunt groups. It will also give you a view of the contact center enterprise, a 360 view to empower agents. We will show you our supervisor tool as well as the agent tools, and you will find out how to follow up with statistics, logs, and category codes for planning, utilization, and business intelligence. We will see how to manage the Competella communication suite and how we can delegate access. We will give you an enhanced 360 view by showing CRM gateways and voice recording, and Competella's Teams extended integration, and also show how easy it is to onboard this platform. And as I mentioned before, please send in questions in the questionnaire, and we will follow them up in the end of the session and send them out to you afterwards if you don't have time to cover them. But hopefully we'll have a Q&A session in the end. And with that, I will leave the word here to Lars.
Yes, so thank you very much for that, Karin. Shortly about Competella, who is now an Enghouse company. Competella was privately owned and founded in Sweden back in 2009. This summer, this year, Competella was acquired by Enghouse Systems Limited, and Enghouse Systems Limited is a publicly traded Canadian-based software and services company with an annual revenue over 325 million euros. They have 36 plus years of extensive contact center expertise, and they are supporting thousands of customers globally. So those customers consume actually our products, which are the world's broadest portfolio of contact center solutions. In Enghouse Systems Limited, we are around 2,000 employees working globally. When Enghouse bought, rather say acquired Competella, they of course made a statement for the future of the Competella products, and that is that we intend to continue to build upon Competella's success through the ongoing investments in the products to improve customer service excellence, and through distribution channels to provide the solution and services that our customers expect. And with our portfolio of solutions, both the customers and partners will be offered access to Enghouse Interactive suite of products that are deployed both on-premise or in the cloud, and that both is relating to contact center, video conferencing, as well as self-service products. As said before, Enghouse Interactive offers the most comprehensive offering within CX solutions in the world, and our solutions are available either as cloud, on-premise, or hybrid type of deployments. It comprises of 4 distinct groupings, which is the contact center, which that is the core of our solution, where we are capable of offering omni-channel capabilities that are foundational to providing this solution. The surrounding elements is, for instance, the fully integrated capabilities such as self-service, call recording, quality management, attendant console, and also outbound communications. It comprises of analytics and integrations to interactive video collaboration tools as well. With our supporting practices, we offer and leverage our 36 plus years of expertise to probably assess your customer needs and propose the best solution and implement it as efficiently as possible. The practices that we have are, for instance, knowledge management, survey management, audio branding, and also artificial intelligence insights. The third-party provided services that we also can offer are done through a strategic relationship with different providers in order to provide our customers a simplified approach to creating a comprehensive single source communications, collaboration, and contact center solution with full interoperability. So the reason why I'm showing you this slide is that if what I'm going to show you in a live demo today does not fulfill your requirements, then please be aware that we definitely have other products in our portfolio that can probably cover any requirement that you may have as a customer or partner. So the Competella Solutions is a complete and natively built suite for Microsoft Teams, and it's offered as a service located in Microsoft Azure, and it comprises of contact center and attendant console solution. With and towards the Competella Solutions, we also offer professional services, in-house support, and training. Today, more than 680,000 persons globally are involved in using our solutions, and we have, with these 680,000 persons, around 700 customers. We go to market both through our network of certified partners, as well as we go directly to end customers. The good news that we have, which are maybe not even news anymore, because it's definitely public to everybody that are searching for a solution that is certified for Microsoft Teams within the contact center area, that they will be able to find the Competella Communication Suite certified up against the industry standards that Microsoft have outlined for this certification program. That program, for instance, assesses us up against interoperability. It assesses the Competella solution up against a long suite and range of security assessment, both the physical as well as, of course, seen from the application side. And it also assesses us up against a lot of different industry standards. So when Microsoft speaks about this, they talk about actually going beyond, for instance, the ISO 27001. And we have passed this certification, meaning that you are also able to get support from Microsoft should something happen with the Competella solution, if there's some kind of issue. But first of all, of course, Enghouse Competella will help you to provide a sufficient solution for issues as well. The Competella Communication Suite for Teams on a high level consists of the Contact Center Enterprise. The Contact Center Enterprise provides a 360-degree view for agents, which, for instance, includes overview over queues, overview over other agents and their status, overview of all calls waiting in line, full overview of the ongoing call that the agent would handle, history of the caller, so meaning if the caller was a recurrent call, then you'll be able to see the history, which agent did they speak to, and if the call was transferred into a subject matter expert in the organization, to see that. On top of that, it leverages both tools for real-time monitoring, such as wallboards, as well as ability to, of course, retrieve and create statistical reports, easy management, and so on. The Competella Contact Center Work Group are, as Karen mentioned, our advanced hunt group solution. So it's more sophisticated than what Microsoft offers out of the box with Microsoft Teams, called the Teams call groups. What it does beyond that is, for instance, that the agent can choose where to receive calls. That could be in Teams, on the mobile, or any PSTN number. But also, of course, all the reporting on top of it, which is not available in Teams. The Competella Attendant Console is our professional switchboard solution for receptionists to receive calls, typically on the main number at the headquarters or at branch offices. Search for the best, interview the caller, search for the best available person or skill based on presence and Microsoft Exchange Calendar, and then do a professional transfer of the call. So this is on a top level, the Competella Communication Suite. If we go a level down, what you as a customer or partner would require to know is that if the end customer have the requirement to create some kind of menu flow-based branch out through an interactive voice response with the Competella solution, then we offer the IVR Express for that, where you're able to build as an advanced call flow as you wish, more or less. But however, we of course always tell our customers that it would probably not be sensible to have more than 3 layers. But it's possible to branch out calls and send them to different skills to the queues, which, for instance, could be through what I'll show you now. The one moment, bear with me. Like this. This is, of course, Microsoft Teams. In that, I have Olivia Green logged in. So now we are on our way to the live demo. And Olivia is currently logged in through the Competella Agent Portal, which is an app that you get through the Teams App Store. You can also access this through a browser, through the your Microsoft Office 365 credentials and password, of course. What the Contact Center Work Group agent is able to do here is to change her availability towards the queues and agent groups that she is a member of, so go online, or for that matter, go offline. The agent has the ability to choose where to receive the calls. So Teams only means, of course, you receive the calls in the Teams phone app. Other device could be a SIP address or a PSTN number, could be your mobile number or similar, or simultaneous ring, which is the ability for an agent to receive calls both in Teams but also on the mobile at the very same time, which Teams cannot do, and Teams itself cannot do this other device routing to hunt group agents either. So the other device ability actually enables, for instance, blue-collar workers who needs to be a part of a workroom or a team to just use their not smartphone but mobile phone to receive calls and be offering a service to inbound calls. The Competella Contact Center Work Group is also used for on-call agents many times. So agents that work outside the ordinary business hours of the service, could be a help desk or similar, where it's easy for them either through the embedded app in Teams, which of course is also available on the smartphone, to make yourself available and then choose which agent group that you should be a member of and where to receive the calls. So with that, you have a very flexible solution to log in for that. But also, if you are a supervisor, you have the ability to change the status on the different queues that you're a member of. So that actually gives you the ability to close or open queues, and then the queues will follow the call routing settings based on the configuration that is made on the individual queue. What I have down here is the real-time monitor overview. So here I have both, and are able to see how many agents are logged in, number of available agents, number of paused agents, and how many calls have been summarized over the day in these different 6 queues that Olivia is a member of, but also to be able to see, for instance, that Sales Sweden is currently closed. If we should quickly make a call to the queue, so I will place a call. Please bear with me a second. And then I move over to receiving calls in Teams instead. So then I see now an incoming call coming in to support English, and what it shows here as soon as the call is going is that I can see still which queue did the call come in from, but also the actual DID number or the A number of the caller. So that gives me the possibilities to handle this call efficiently, and with the capabilities in Teams, then I can also, for instance, use the transferring options or hold options that are available with that. If the agent has the requirement to see the call history of calls that came into the queue, then what you need to know is that we have built the option also to see the call history directly in the Competella app. So here I'm able to see the calls that have been handled through the queue that have been selected, if a queue has been selected, and also the DID number plus the timestamp. And here I can copy either the DID number, the phone number, or I can also just to click to dial, and then I'll dial out through Teams. So the Competella Contact Center Workgroup is an easy possibility to use for hunt group distribution, of course. What is also important for you to know is that actually the Contact Center Workgroup agents can also be a member of Contact Center Enterprise queues. So that gives you a really good flexibility. For instance, in the scenario that we spoke about before, for instance, having a help desk that outside business hours, you don't need to be logged on with the Competella agent client, which I'm trying to log in with now. So that will be logged on in a couple of seconds. It's just doing authorization towards Office 365. Bear with me a second. Running. So now the user is authorized, and as you can see, I'm now logged in with Olivia Green, which was also over here logged in to Teams. And it is a prerequisite for the Competella Contact Center Enterprise agent to be logged in with Teams in order to actually log in with the Contact Center Enterprise agent. So in the top, you see, of course, again, Olivia being logged in. If she has the requirement to go into another status, she can do that. And in this case, she was the only one who was available on the 6 different queues that she's a member of. So therefore, she gets a warning that there are too few, and that's if she really wants to enter. So we can try and log her out. Of course, you can do some changes in the look and the feel. So if you don't want the real-time overview of the agents that are connected to the same queues as you are, and where you have the different filtering options to see who's actually a member of the different queues, then you could also choose to actually hide that. But many times it's good to have a live overview of what is happening. When Olivia dials out, And then she has the choice of choosing which phone number she will show. So these are the queue numbers that are associated with the queues that are the inbound queues. So here, if she chooses one of the other numbers, then she can actually show that instead of her personal Teams now number when she dials out through the Competella agent client. So these were the queues. The queue overview. So here I have a 0 indicating how many calls are waiting in the support English queue, 0 indicating actually how many agents are currently logged on. So we better log Olivia Green in, and now we can see we have 1 agent available on these different queues, even in the demo sales Sweden, which is currently closed. Olivia, being a supervisor, can also, through this application, actually change the status of the different queues. She can close and open queues. But also as a supervisor, she has the ability to change the status of other agents. So if I would need to have more agents logged in order to handle the flow of calls coming in, then that is also actually an option. But I'll log them out now because soon we are going to have some live calls also. So over here on the right hand side, I have the overview of the incoming calls. So when we make live calls, you will be able to see them. It gives me the possibility, of course, to use different ways of routing, which can be skill-based routing or longest idle, round robin distribution, and so on. But I can also cherry pick calls as an agent in this application. So if I see the CEO of our company, I could say, okay, I want to prioritize him, and then just double click on him, and then I will grab that call out of the queue. On the left-hand side, I have information about the status of today for me as an agent. So it counts, for instance, the current call, how long is that? So the previous call, how long was that? And how many calls have I been handling throughout the day? This is the field for the ongoing inbound call. And if I am doing some kind of three-party conference or just a consult transfer, then this field will be shown. The other field furthest to the left, to the right, is the monitor, where you can add users from the database. So these are Teams users, where you have the ability to add or remove them, so you can see their status in Teams. So this gives you, of course, a good overview, for instance, for subject matter experts, maybe that you are using throughout the day to transfer or calls to or consult, for instance, in a three-party conference. The search option gives you the ability to search in data from your Azure Active Directory. So that is your, of course, the colleagues of your colleagues from the IT system, which are automatically fed into this directory. And with our advanced search, you can either use the full database search, or you can also just use abbreviations, and then you will actually be able to get hits. It's a little bit like Google. The more you write, the less hits you will probably be able to see. Yeah, so that's, as soon as I've set up actually the view here, will give me the option to move to the next part of the demo, which are live calls. So please bear with me. I'll place a couple of calls. To come in. So here we have the first call coming in, and automatically the call is distributed to me. If I don't want to answer this particular call, but the other one, which is waiting in line, which I'll try to do. So I just double clicked on that, and then Teams needs to react and serve me that one. So like this. So now I'm speaking to this phone number coming from this particular queue. I can see also further down who actually served this particular caller last time. So that was also Olivia Green at 12:39 today. And actually that call was last transferred to James Line. If I want to, well, I see the presence, of course, James right here. If I want to do a consult transfer, I can do that, or I can do a blind transfer to Max immediately from here. If I want to see the details of Max from the directory, I can also do that with the monocular here. And should I wish to see other calls from this particular, where this particular a number is involved, then I just press the information box, and I then see actually all the calls throughout the last 3 weeks from this particular phone number. So that is good information for me as an agent to provide a good customer service, also to know who in the organization have they been speaking to, and that can give me an easier way of handling the call. But let's say that this call needs to be transferred in a consult to James Lime as a subject matter expert. Now James have picked up the call, and I can then present the caller to Max, to James. And maybe James, he asks, yeah, but who is actually calling and what is it about? And then it gives me the option to toggle back to the inbound caller, which I'm speaking to now. I can ask my questions, get the answer, provide the answer by toggling back to James. Hi, James, it's about this and that. Would you like to speak to him? No, Olivia, can we please make this a 3-party conference? And then I use my short key to do that. And now Olivia, the inbound caller, the customer, and James Lime are connected. And then maybe James, he asks a few questions. And then James, he might say, well, this is not something for you, Olivia, and you have calls waiting in line, so you better just hand over the call to me. So having done that, I'm now being prompted for a reason code or conversation log entry, which will then be saved into the tenant database of the call, and then I can answer the next call coming in. So now I'm connected to the next call, and that caller then might, for instance, ask for somebody in sales, and I can see, well, right now James, he's busy, so I might want to actually just transfer the call, which I do here with the right click on the mouse, and very soon we will see also Max Lemon being busy in a call, and then I can choose what the topic of the call was, so that we can use that for business information purposes. So now we have been showing you the agent overview, with it all, the 360-degree view. I've been showing you how the queues are controlled and how they can be opened and closed, and how the incoming call list looks. I've shown you that I can cherry pick calls from the queues. I've shown you where the current call is handled, and how we were able to see information on previous calls, and for instance see disposition and category codes on those. We have spoken a little bit about different keywords, and by the way, that the agent is actually able to manage keywords for users internally. So if they find out that you have a new subject matter expert within some certain area, then you can create a new keyword and actually add that directly to the user who has an expertise within that, and make it possible to use that as a searchable option for the future. I did show you presence, and in this case both Max and James are still busy in a call, so we will just make them available again. And the same goes for both of these subject matter Teams users that I've been using throughout the demo. So With this solution, we try to, of course, give you the possibility to optimize your customer service, but we have other supervisor features than the ability to change the queue open and close, and also to change status on other agents. And that is, for instance, our real-time wallboard called the Competella Quality Monitor. So the Competella Quality Monitor is a web-based application where you as administrator are able to choose which queues that you want to surveillance, but also to choose which metrics that you would like to show. So in the top, you have the ability to see how many calls are waiting right now in the individual queue. And if I just try to do like this and go unavailable, so now you see that 0 agents are actually available, and then I'll place a couple of calls again like I actually did before. So now we have 1 call waiting in line, and actually now we are up to 2 calls waiting in line. So here you will also see that when these callers hang up due to that they are unanswered, that we have more abandoned calls, and that the quality of service will go down in the summarization and accumulation over the day. So this is the quality monitor, which of course are good for maybe large wallboards and contact centers, but can also be used just by a supervisor who needs to have a good overview of how many calls are actually waiting in the individual queues, and how is the service, how have the service been throughout the day. So now we see the QoS going down because the waiting time was too long, and by the way, these calls hung up before, in this case, I think after 15 seconds. So, yes, I will now move over to the Competella management portal, because in that we have quite a few good tools, also both available for supervisors. So I just need to log into it, and bear with me, and Microsoft as well when I log in. So log into this account, which is not set up with multi-factor authentication, and thereby prompted me quite a few times. So in the Competella management tools, we can see that Olivia Green is an admin here, and she has the ability to go into the statistics and logs, and for that matter, the conversation logs. So the conversation logs are where you first of all can manage your wrap-up code categories. So I was using, for instance, this one, CCE, and I think AE and CCW. So these are the subjects of what your agents could be speaking with the customers of throughout the day, and they can then be associated with one of the queues that you might have on your system. And of course, when you start pulling reports of these, then you will find out what the subjects are typically that are being talked about, and maybe if there are many of the exact same subject, then you might be able to filter down to that you need to communicate something to your callers or customers, for instance, in terms of emails or similar, or maybe on your website. So, but also what the conversation log, of course, can be used for is to find out, well, how many calls did I have with a particular category within a certain date range, and then I can filter this down and break it down to both the queue or the agents, but also which direction the call came in from, or if it's incoming or outgoing call. The call log, which is available in the statistics and logs, where you are able to follow, for instance, calls from cradle to grave. So if I want to see in the period of 1st of December until today, all calls from this particular phone number that call in between the opening hours from 8 to 5 CET. Then I can see here actually all calls that came since the 5th of December from that particular phone number, and the different types and statuses of that particular call. So it gives me the ability to drill down from cradle to grave and see what actually happens with the individual call that came in, and can of course be used also as documentation if your customer service or help desk, for instance, have some complaints about abandoned calls or similar stuff. The statistics also, with the statistics designer, we offer some system templates, and that could, for instance, be, let's use this queue call summary. With that, you can select specific queues that you would like to see information about. You can also drill it down to show the different agents that are involved, and actually select which agents took how many calls throughout a period. You can, of course, choose the period of time that you would like to see, and in which time zone you would like to show this as. And then you can start grouping and doing your exclusions of how you would like to see the data. So in the standard report, we see incoming calls, we see incoming answered calls, abandoned calls, and overflowed calls, and in this case from 28th of November. And let's just take this maybe until today. So then I refresh, and I then see on a day level how many calls was offered, how many calls was answered, and how many was abandoned on the different dates. And then if I have a specific day that, of course, if I had a lot of inbound calls that were abandoned, then I would drill down on that particular day, and then I would sort it and group it not on a day, but maybe on a half hour or hourly basis to find out what actually went on, so that you can improve your service towards your customer. But it could also be another report like this, I think it's a performance report that we have, where you are, let's take, please bear with me, show agents, this. So here you see how many agent offered calls were offered, how many agent answered calls were there, and what was the average talk time. And then if you want to add further information like more metrics, then you have the ability to add that as well. So and the way you can get it shown is like here, where I see it in a list. I can of course see this also in a graph, as well as I can actually export this to Microsoft Excel. So for supervisors, this would be maybe and often that they go in, design and create their reports, and then they, for instance, every day after business hours, then they make a schedule of the different reports showing actually the data that they would like to see, and then this will be distributed on a recurrent basis. So for instance, every day after 5 o'clock to a particular email user or a group of email users in Microsoft Excel, in order to be able to drill down and understand how was my service today and who performed the best. And then, of course, if you need to plan ahead, then you can start looking into history through the statistics solution. So that covers the statistics of today. But also, of course, in terms of management, it's quite easy to also delegate access to other users by going into the directory, select the user, which of course comes directly from Azure Active Directory, and here you have the ability to change and add the different roles and the role-based access that the individual user should have. But not only that, so one thing is that you can do it on a feature level. Another thing is that you can also do this on a queue and group level. So here you have the ability on an agent group to set and search different administrators who are then only able to see the agent groups and associated queues and data that are connected to this agent group queue and so on. So also a possibility to limit access seen from an organizational point of view. But when you want to change, for instance, the different ways of distribution, then you have the possibility to set, for instance, how many calls should be allowed to stand in queue, how long should the queue be able to be in terms of waiting time before then you choose to do something else with the calls, or you can use our callback solution to offer callback in the queue. If no agents are logged on, then you can choose what to do also with the calls if you want to put them to an external destination or to, for instance, a Teams group call voicemail. And then if you want to change the actual distribution algorithm, you go into the agent group, select the agent group that is connected to the queue that you are working with. And then here it's easy to choose if you want to use longer style, parallel, round robin, and so on. And if you want to do skill-based routing, it's possible to add several agent groups to, for instance, a queue. This ends the live demo of the Competella Contact Center Solutions, and then we proceed a little bit with some slides. So what we can provide on top of this 360-degree view is, for instance, our CRM gateway, which is a turnkey solution for Salesforce and Microsoft, enabling agents to be even better prepared to receive and handle callers. And with it, we have a turnkey solution for, as said, for Salesforce and Microsoft. So very easy to set up the integration between that. If you, as a customer, have other CRM or ITSM systems, we have an open API for those. So don't be shy. Please come forward if you need a CRM integration. You can use the A number as a key to pop up the CRM screen or ITSM screen. We can retrieve information from the CRM system and show it directly in the Competella agent client, as well as we can do VIP routing based on CRM data, as well, and we can also actually route calls to specific queues based on CRM data. So another solution that enhances the 360-degree view is the voice recording, and the way that the Competella solution is integrated with Teams is through the compliance recording API, and it's very easy to connect to, because all you need to do is to register a recording bot in your Azure, and then you can set up on a queue level if you want to record all calls, inbound, outbound, or if you just want to use on-demand recording. And of course, with our role-based access, you can assign different agent group administrators who can then listen, download, or even delete the recordings. The Competella solution is integrated through the extended model, and that means that basically what the Competella cloud and your tenant is doing is to manipulate the routing of calls inside your team's tenant's topology. So this also gives you the benefit of that you can choose any PSTN offering that are available for Microsoft Teams. That of course includes direct route, calling plans, or for that matter, Operator Connect. And it's quick also because to integrate it, because it's a public cloud solution that we offer. So all you need to do is to set up 5 apps and register those in your Azure tenant. That takes roughly 1 hour if you do it manually and you know what you're doing, or you can use our automated onboarding, which is a script that we have created that you grant the permissions for us to actually create these apps in your Azure tenant, and then it automatically gives us the credentials of those apps in order to connect your Competella tenant to your Azure and Teams tenant. So that ended my presentation of today. Karen, would we have any questions?
Yes, we do. We have actually a number of questions. We'll see how far we get through the list.
Yes.
The first question that came in was in regard to contact center workgroup, and if the user is receiving the call in Teams, the question is, if you is this logged in Teams? If so, can the user, or I would assume the caller, see the contact information of the person handling the call? Meaning that if this is an internal call that use Teams, can the contact the person see who's handling this and contact that person directly, because that's they would like to keep it a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it would be visible to the internal caller, because then what happens is that the internal caller, if the internal caller have been calling from Teams to the bot that is actually handling this resource account, then Teams is not hiding who is the receiving agent on the other side. So I'm pretty sure it is like that, but I would be happy to test it. Yes. Next question.
Yes. Okay. All right. The next question is, can you have a default phone number per queue? i.e., if it's in a support, they have one number X, and then it's another queue, then they could have a different number Y for people, for example, for the switchboard. And
yeah, most definitely you're able to add several queues and associate different phone numbers to each individual queue in the Competella system. Most definitely, yes.
Yeah, and then we move over to the Contact Center Enterprise and the user interface with the MA client. And there's a question saying, can you hide the field caller so that people cannot cherry pick calls in the queues?
Yes, you can hide that. Yeah, it is possible.
Is it possible to turn off the cherry picking then?
No, I don't think so, but you can hide it.
Yeah. Okay, and as you can see in the MA multimedia agent, also you can see there was a little calendar symbol, and the question came up, is there a calendar integration in this?
Yes, it's an add-on for the attendant console where you're able to see also a Microsoft Exchange online calendar of the organization. So that's, for instance, free and busy time. Yes.
Yes. And then we move over more to the administrational parts. You were talking about forming groups that could change administration. And there was a question coming up then, are these groups synced with Office 365 groups so you can control it via the AD?
Yeah, I understand the question. So that's AD groups to for instance, use as agent groups. No, not currently. That's not how the solution is designed currently. So you need to add the different agents through the Competella management tool, but it is quite quickly to do so. Yeah.
Yes, and I think that concludes all the questions that's been sent in so far. Please send in more if you have. Otherwise, I will tell you that this session has been recorded, and we will send out the link to this recorded webinar together with a follow-up email where we encourage you to also fill in a questionnaire to help us improve in this webinars going forward.
Yes. So as Karen just said, we will do that, and we thank you very much for attending our webinar today. And of course, if you have further questions or would like to speak about your current situation and where you are as a customer, please do not hesitate to contact me, Karen, or one of our other colleagues. We are here to help both customers and our partners if there are questions and provide answers to. So thanks a lot for attending, and we wish you a nice upcoming holidays here by end of the year, and a lovely afternoon, evening. Thanks for attending.
Cheers. Yeah, thank you very much. Bye-bye.